Hello, hello, everybody. I am Dr. TNJ Rams, your podcast host, giving you tips and different things in order for you to grow in regards to podcasting with our CTR University. And if you have not liked, follow, and subscribe to our platform, what you waiting for? Because we are here to be the podcast connoisseurs or connoisseurs, however you want to say it, for all of you, because we get so many emails, we get so many messages in regards to how to do this, how to do that. So we decided to create these series of videos in order to help you on a free aspect. Of course, we do have our private membership where you can get customized answers that is specific to you. And if you would like to be a part of that, you can just click the button to subscribe to be a subscriber, and you'll be having access to more in our network. And if you would like to take it to another level, you can actually be a part of our CTR membership family where we can do all that, build your website, all that good stuff on CTR Media Network. But this is your freebie. So let me pour into you. So today's topic is about podcast tips 101. So we're going to talk about from idea to launch. Now, we're not going to go step by step to launch how to launch a successful podcast, because we actually have a course that actually talk about all that. And we have the Power of Podcasting book that's going to be coming your way. That's going to break it all down. You can write all this stuff down. But I will talk about the beginning phases of what you need to do when you are contemplating starting a podcast. So first of all, you need to have the confidence to do the type of podcast that you want to do, even if it's not popular. Okay, many times you can say your concept and you can share with a friend or a family or a business partner, and they're like, ooh, that kind do you want to do that? If it's in your heart of hearts that you feel that this is your purpose for you to do, I do not want you to allow distractions or the lack of support to stop you from doing it. Number one. So if you know that you want to do a podcast and you have already decided what type of audience you want, you already decided what type of topics you want to talk about, and then you go to your trusted friend or relative or business associates and you tell them, or you pitch the idea to different people, and they be like, I want you to have the confidence to walk in your purpose. I want you to walk in it, okay? And I want you to have the courage to do it. Number two, I want you to have understand that starting a podcast is not something that is easy. You need to map this out. So many times where I see podcasters fail is that they have this idea, they have this enthusiasm, this zeal for a podcast. They go and they rush into it. They start it and they go in full force. They're doing a whole lot of different things with their podcast, and they're just going in hard, and then they burn out. So I want you to take the time to think about your concept, what you want to do, what's the format. Do you want to do a 30-minute show or an hour show? Do you want to have a solo show? Do you want to have a guest ensemble? Do you want to bring in a co-host? What type of show do you want to have? What kind of look, what kind of feel? Do you want your podcast to be audio only, or do you want to be audio and video? Do you want your podcast to be distributed on multiple different platforms, or do you want to have a private podcast? Because there's private podcast platforms where you only can get in through membership, and then or your episodes is locked down. They have to subscribe in order to pay per episode. And then there are podcasts like myself that it's open to the general public. You don't have to pay a fee in order to listen to it. So what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And you need to ask yourself, do you already have an audience? Have you already built a community that if you decide to do a membership type of podcast, that they are already willing to purchase and buy? Because what you don't want to do is create a lot of content, put it in a membership kind of format where they have to buy your episode in order to listen to your podcast episode, and you don't have an audience for them to buy. So you need to determine, is this something that you need to build up from scratch? Is this a completely new concept with your podcast that you're building? Or is it an extension of what you're already doing? So say, for example, you already have a business, right? You're already a coach. And you're saying, and you already have books, you're already an author, you already been on other people's podcasts, and you decide that you want to flip your book or you want to flip your coaching into a podcast, which means that you come with the already built-in audience, and you just want to build this as an extension of what you're already doing. But then you have some people that come into podcasting and it is just completely new. They're doing something totally left. So they don't have a podcast. They want to start a podcast, but they don't want to do it in regards to what they're already doing. So maybe they already have a business in a certain niche, but they want to use the podcast in order to build a whole new niche. So it depends on what type of format, whether you're starting from ground zero or whether you're starting with already a workable network audience. You need to figure that out before you launch. Okay, you need to write out your concept. You need to make sure that you look at the colors that you're going to use for your podcast. Okay, colors are very important. I encourage people to use 3 to 4 colors, 2 of which can be black and white, because usually, they don't have to be your primary colors, but normally we have writing, you have in black, or you have a white background on certain things, or vice versa. But your primary colors that you're going to be using for your business, for your brand, you need to really, really do research on them, because every color has a meaning. And I don't think many people do research on that. Every color has a meaning. So whatever it is that you want to name your podcast, does that color coincide with what you want to create for your podcast? So say, for example, you want to create a podcast about let's see, Coca-Cola. Let's give an example of something that you already know. Coca-Cola. So you're a Coca-Cola enthusiast, okay? And you want to talk all things Coca-Cola, okay? And this is way left, of course, but you want to talk all things Coca-Cola. And then you build your podcast brand and you say, okay, I am a Coca-Cola enthusiast, which means I'm going to be talking all things Coca-Cola, all things history of Coca-Cola, and blah, 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 blah. Now, and you come out and that Coca-Cola is in blue and purple. Now, when you think about blue and purple, do you think about Coca-Cola? So you would think about, if you're a Coca-Cola enthusiast, mind you cannot use the name Coca-Cola because that name is trademarked and branded, but you can use the colors. So say, for example, you're a Coca-Cola enthusiast, you're going to start a Coca-Cola enthusiast podcast. You're going to call it My Guilty Pleasure Podcast. And then the description, you'll be like, I am a Coca-Cola enthusiast and I absolutely love everything in podcasting. So therefore, the guests that I bring on, we're going to be having conversations, chit chat about the days and different things, topics, but we're going to be sipping Coca-Cola while we're doing it. Boom. What color do you think your show should be? What the colors of Coca-Cola? Red and white, right? So even though your podcast will not be named Coca-Cola because you will get sued, okay? But your podcast would be chit-chattering, having a beverage or something, however you want to put it, whatever you want to name it. But a smart business strategy would be having your colors red and white, because hence, when people think of Coca-Cola, they think red and white because their branding colors is red and white, right? Red, white, and black. All right. So thinking about that, the smallest little things, thinking about how long you want your show to go, whether you want it to be 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, 45 minutes. How long do you want your show? Are you going to have commercial slots? Are you going to have places where you're going to be doing sponsor ads? And if so, how many are you going to do? How long are those ads going to be? And how much you're going to charge, or if you're going to do it for free? All these things you need to consider before you even mash the launch button, before you even mention you're going to have a podcast, before you even do your first episode. You need to be thinking about your branding colors, what you're going to do, your premise, your format, what type of guests you want to have on. All of that is actually in The Power of Podcasting book. So if you feel a little overwhelmed right now, no worries. You can get that book. It's only $25. And it's a book and a workbook all in one. So you're going to be reading and writing in it. And I designed it like this so that it can entice all of the senses of the hear it, you see it, you write it. It got QR codes, you can listen. There's so many different things that's inside this book that I put my blood, sweat, and tears in so that you can be successful in regards to podcasting. And you can totally ignite the power of podcasting. All right. So this video was all about from idea to launch. So Congratulations that you decided to launch a podcast. But come on, let's get these ideas written out. This is our 10-minute coaching session podcast and one-on-one for CTR University. Have a good day. I'm Dr. T. Talk to you later. Bye.